Welcome to the XSF podcast, hosted by Devante and Lou. This is the podcast to show that every human is capable of being extreme. Tune in to discover how you are too. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the
podcast.
Boom. And in this week's episode, me and Lou, we discuss knee pain. We dive into first things first, we're not doctors. And if you have an acute injury, as in you hit your knee and you think you might have done something to the bone or you tore something as a ligament or tendon, then make sure you go into your doctor and get seen. But today we really discuss those chronic knee pains when you do a certain something and it causes knee pain. Now, or let's say you're going upstairs and that's where you feel it. You know, you have these little aches and pains here and there. That's what we address today. We break down the structure of the knee. We break down why you might be feeling these pains and where it actually could be coming from. Because most of the time, it's not necessarily coming directly from the knee unless you have that acute knee injury. And then we break down exactly what you can do from there to start to feel better today and implement some things into your training, into your life, so you can start to get out of that pain. All right, everybody, before we hop into it, I got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Third Layer Skateboard and Skate Shop. We love you guys, and make sure you guys come out in April and May. Check us at the contest. We got Twin Cities open in April, and we got Top Shop in May. Next on the list, we got Monte Coso Skateboards. Shout out to you guys. I'm still riding that brand new board that I got about 2 months ago, and it still feels brand new. I mean, yes, I only get to skate about once a week right now, but when I skate that once a week, I'm going so damn hard. It's insane. That board is holding up, and it still has the pop, still has the flick, still has the nice firmness to it, and I love it. So thank you guys. Last but very much so not least, Batch Roasting Co. Make sure you go get some amazing coffee in your cup to start your day from some amazing humans doing some amazing things. All right, everybody, if you want to learn about knee pain, then go ahead. Enjoy today's episode. Yeah, I know, right? Because you were muted.
Because having this, I just put it down.
Yeah, then we're good. You take the headphones off, we're good. But last time, you were muted. Okay, so when we recorded the episode, you were muted on my end. I couldn't hear anything. I was talking, doing my thing. Then, I'm editing, and I'm like, what the hell? And I realized it's just you pissing in the background. Gee, it's just literally on the good old AirPods, just right up in Lou's business. So hey, if you, like we said last time, are into urination, we thought we were gonna leave it out, but go check out episode 52. About halfway through, 32-ish minutes in, you'll
more a lot of urination talk in my life right now.
Oh God, dude, it's painful.
It's pretty crazy.
It's pretty painful.
It's pretty crazy.
And
not for me.
Speaking about pain, let's lay up last week's episode of general pain, just talking about pain, with one of the hottest topics that I've dealt with in the skateboard industry and just really general population is knee pain.
Knee pain. Knee pain's a big pain. I've had knee pain.
I've had it too. So will you explain your knee pain? How have you experienced it before?
My most recent experience of knee pain was come really from working a laborious construction job, and I would skateboard to the job about, say it's 5 miles away, so a good 15-20 minute skate, and then work all day, up and down steps, ladders, blah, blah, blah. And then skate home and then work out at night. And then obviously it'd be pain, usually when I'm squatting. And I'm not sitting there blaming it on squats. If you heard everything else I said, it's overuse. You know what I mean? Not giving the time and attention to move my hip around, get some hip mobility, some ankle mobility.
Was it both your knees or just one?
The right one mainly. And I think that's because
You're goofy,
of when I'm
right.
No, I'm regular. And I think that's
pushing.
why, though, because the push was hyperextending a lot, and then when I'd go to work, I would be double stepping steps, and I'm short, I'm 5'4", so me doubling steps almost like you, doing 5 of them, you know what I mean? So, put a lot of stress on me, and then like almost doing like one like single leg step ups at these steps at work. Because when we're on job sites, it's not like a step that most people like experience in a building,
Mm-hmm.
because that's when it's finished. These are like raw, so it's just big slabs of concrete, so they're a little higher, you know. And so do it like double step and steps would literally be like doing high like step ups,
yeah,
you
like
know, a lot of stress on the
yeah.
quads. Yeah. Then with a tool belt on or whatever's going on, not thinking about this stuff, just moving through the day. And I'm very active the way I move too, so it's always quick. And yeah, then skating home and then being at the gym. And if I didn't, and after a long day, like I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't give too much attention to recovery. You know, like if I wasn't stretching after the gym, recover, like getting mobile, you'd feel it.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
But then you go in and see where we can, because you don't want to stop doing the things you love to do. You don't stop working out. You don't want to stop skating. Obviously, you got to work. So it's like, all right, how can we try to figure this out? So it's
Now,
like, you have to do what?
on that note, when it comes to like skating or like lifting, though, if you're having like direct pain doing a specific thing, like let's say you're trying to kick up the weight in a squat, or you're jumping down a bunch of stair sets, would you say, it's all right to, take that stuff away? Not completely, but just in the interim, or shift the perspective of how you're doing things. So like, let's say you're trying to squat heavier weight. What if we drop the weight, go up in time spent under tension? Or, then we go from skating those stairs to let's go skate a flat ground box or flat ground and get better there for a little while we deal with what might be going on at that knee, let it calm down a little bit.
Yeah, it would have to come down to really what you're looking like. So for me, it's not like I'm looking to be a pro skater. Like literally skating for me is a release.
I mean,
because the skating I do.
There's a bunch of skaters I know who like get together and like don't care about being a pro, but like when you get to a session, like there's certain things you just want to skate all the time. Like if you notice, my videos are kind of consistent on what I do, and you watch other people's stuff, and like let's say that thing is giving them pain, I think it's a good idea to like, hey, let's shift away from that, focus for right now. It's not that you can't go back to that, but just want to throw that out.
Yes, exactly. Like for me, I'm looking to strength train. So what I would do is maybe mitigate the skating somewhere.
Yeah.
And not have to mess with my
because that's your priority.
That's because that's my priority, exactly. But if I was more heavy into the skater aspect, then I would do something with the weights. Whether it's like, why am I even squatting? You know what I mean? Like, why am I back squatting like this? I do other things, you know, or I'd even be in the gym only taking care of my knee. You know, making sure the hips stable, the hamstrings doing their job, all that. You know, instead of looking elsewhere. But that's where you check out your priorities. Like work has to happen. Then it comes down to, all right, do I want to walk to work? So it's a little like I have the luxury, I live pretty close to where I was working, so it's like, do I want to walk, spend more time, less stress on the knees, or do I want to get a lift there, but then that's spending so it's all like where your priorities are going to lie. It's it doesn't mean you have to take away entirely from something, but where do your priorities lie? And then it's also figuring it out, because how many people just go through with it? Like, this is what it is. I'll stop back squatting, and then become a caricature of like the hurt construction guy, instead of trying to figure it out. So yeah, like you said, like it's for me to be the priority. So it's all right. If I need to get really good at back squatting, we can't really mess with that too much.
Now, would you say your pain was like structural? When we say that, we mean like tendons and bones and ligaments. Would you say it was more structural?
At least from my not being a doctor advice and like just knowing like the way the knee moves and muscles and stuff, it would have to be something like that, because it was definitely, I think, overuse of my quad, more like the quad tendon up there.
Yep.
Because that's where it would hurt. And whenever I'd release the quads, like even if it's like foam rolling, which happens to work for me,
we've talked about this.
Yeah. It would feel good, so that's definitely. And then once I started working my hamstrings a lot more, it really like equaled out, where like there's no pain.
Yep. No, I like that yours was kind of like an overuse, because the only knee pain that I've really ever had was from taking like direct impact to my kneecap. So like I think it was Midwest Melee. And it was the first time, I've talked about this before, actually, I think.
What, that's a skate event?
Yeah, it used to be a contest back in the day that we do here at Third Layer. Third Layer always puts on amazing contests. And really quick, actually, perfect time to plug us. We are going to be at Third Layer having a booth, XSF. We will be there, doing our thing in April and in May. So we have the Twin Cities Open contest that we'll be at, and we also have the Top Shop contest that we'll be at. So if you're out there, you want to get warmed up, you want to feel your best before you do that contest, make sure you come down and see your mans, me and Lou, because we'll be there doing our thing. And I'll actually be skating Twin Cities Open myself. So quick plug. But
beautiful.
now, so Midwest Melee used to be a contest back in the day that everybody would get so hyped for. And I remember like being this little kid trying to come up in the skate game, like finally made it to like the intermediate division. You know, I was kind of like the top of the intermediate, about to be going to expert probably and all this stuff, and super hyped. And my great grandma was coming to watch me skate. She's like 99 at this time. So like I was skating, warming up, and there's this long flat bar, right? So, you know, like a flat bar usually has at least 2 legs on it. Well, this one had just 2 legs on it, one at the front, one at the back. So imagine like the rail's here, right? I'm coming up from this side and I'm regular. So my chest is facing the rail. I go to do a front lip. So it's like you pop up and you go over and you rotate to your left. And then you're facing the rail like this. So like nuts over the rail essentially. And then you're doing it looks like a board slide at that point. So I'm going over. And when I go to pop up, I notice one of the judges is coming back this way, like on the other side of the rail. Me being this little like 12-year-old kid, I was like, I don't want to hit him. Like I'm about to get judged by him. Like he was kind of already an asshole. So like I was like, I definitely don't want to piss him off. So what I do midair, you do that like kick out thing, and you're like, oh shit, and you kick out, but the board stays with you because you were already committed as you pop to the trick. So you try to kick out midair. Board still came down, landed on the ground. My foot landed here. As I was still going forward, board slipped out and I rotated, and then my inside of my knee just caught the rail, the leg of the rail. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, that didn't feel too good. Really, really hurt. Got up, couldn't really walk too well, went to the front, broke down crying because I was like, my great grandma's coming to see me skate, this and that. And then she showed up, bro, skated and got second place. So made it happen. But
skated and got second place real quick.
Yeah,
gotta shed that out because
messed up knee, bro. So then I went into the doctor after because like my knee just like swelled up. And it was just pretty much, I had slightly torn, I forgot exactly what it was. I believe the medial meniscus. Yeah, so the inside, right? That'd be medial, correct?
Inside would be medial.
Yeah, so the medial meniscus, and then I had a little bit of like bone fragmentation. They didn't know like where it came from, I guess. Like there was like probably either there, because I couldn't tell if it was like there and old or if it was like new. So they just like put me in like one of those sleeve things for a little while, let it chill out, do its thing, and now I know a lot more. I definitely would have been doing more after that. But yeah, that was my injury, right? And so it's still from like a structural.
And that's why we'll be at the booth, because if something like this happens, maybe we could help you out.
Boom.
We're not doctors, but we know some things.
We know some things. All right, so that was mine too, and that was structural, right? And that's like something to think of is like the knee joint itself. Like the knee itself does 2 things, right? It flexes, which is literally bending your knee, right? And it extends, which is straightening your knee, straightening out your leg, right? And there's 4 ligaments that support the knee. So we have the lateral medial meniscus. We just talked about that with my injury. We have the patellar ligament and this semitendinosus ligament. Got them. And with that, you have to think like, okay, well, if that's the case, and those are the things that kind of help the knee track, well, where could this pain then in the knee be coming from? If you have like no abrupt injury to the knee, like Lou, you had, you know, that overuse thing going on, where could that stuff be coming from? Well, one thing I like to look at first is the hips and the ankles. Lou, when you think about your pain that you were having, you said you worked on, you know, mobility work after the fact, and that started feeling better. And then we'll get into like the strengthening side of it. But what did you do specifically then for your mobility work when it came to getting out of that pain?
I worked on my hip mobility.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had very like only flexing and extending type of hips. They weren't really too good at externally rotating or internally rotating.
Which kind of exercises would you end up doing? Like 90-90s? Would you do like just what were you working on there?
Well, I would be I wasn't really doing too many 90-90s because I'm horrible at getting in that position, to be honest. Yeah. I do more so like pigeons, some couch stretches, but then I would also do like, then I would do some like rear foot elevated split squats, body weight to get some more hip mobility. Yeah, and
you can
extension.
Like let those hips rotate and really focus on the hip, what the hips are doing.
Walking lunges and emphasizing internal, external rotation. So it's under, because if you just sit there and stretch, which is nothing on stretch, I'm not hating. Yeah. But when you do like body weight movement, you're going through a load of gravity, space, time. You know,
Do you remember when
I don't know if space matters, but
do you remember? Well,
gravity and
do
time.
you remember when I said like I think flexibility and mobility are kind of like this coupled thing to some degree?
Yeah,
It's like well,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying like
exactly.
you did like the I love that you said you did the pigeon stretch and the couch stretch, but then you laid that up with some lunge work and some Bulgarian split squats. It's like that's
Yeah,
still working on mobility because like now that you just did those stretches, right? You let yourself access those ranges of motion. Now you transfer that over into your stability work, right? And that's where I would
hmm
look at like with the lunges and stuff, but you still can even take those lunges to fuller ranges of motion now and really
yep,
focus on what's going on at the hip joint and everything. And boom, now you're just getting more bang for your buck. So I love that you laid
yeah.
it up like that.
And what I also really enjoy about doing like walking lunges
Mm-hmm.
and sprinter pose for the stability is it's if you're gonna do a walking lunge into a sprinter pose, it kind of correlates over to life much more than just sitting there and doing just a couch stretch.
Yes.
Again, I'm not hating on the couch stretch;
No.
it's very good to do. But then after that, like it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like you're gonna like stretch some muscles out, but then reinforce them through like life,
Yes.
which is moving through the space we're moving,
Mm-hmm.
your body weight, the gravity that's pulling down, and like really work through those motions. Don't just get into a lunge hop out of it. Really work through it. Control your body, stabilize your body
Yes.
as you lunge down. You come back up, you hold that sprinter pose, try to have like full body tension almost. Like
Mm-hmm.
really give it the respect,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a great thing right there, and then it's going to carry over to life. Because when you go like if I'm skating, it's not me just sitting in a couch stretch. There's force going through my body constantly,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if I want to like get better at that, it would be the stretch, then the movement, the mobility, and then strength and all that.
And how and this all ended up helping you and stuff then I'm assuming and you ended up getting out of it and good to go. And that's the thing is like and I'm assuming also when a big thing to note is you said body weight when you're doing the lunges and stuff, right? And I think that's was a key thing to point out is like a lot of people, you know, you'll hear, "Oh, I can't do this." I can't do said movement because my knee. And it's like, well, can we look at how this is going down? Like what else here is stopping you from, getting there? Because if we're having knee pain, maybe because the ankle mobility isn't quite there and your knee can't
hmm
quite track over the toes where it wants to for then the hips to allow themselves to get into the position they need to get into, then now you're feeling that pressure in the knee, right? So however we need to kind of break it down for like a said client is like, hey, okay, well, it's not that we can't do things. Why don't we just do things a little bit different so then we can do
Yeah.
the things we want to do? And I love that you said that because even like, like I have some elderly clients, right? And one mentally challenged client too. And it's like, hey, they both barely can do like a body weight lunge just by themselves, right? So you give them a dowel, you give them dowels or something, and give them access now to something that can help them focus more into what they're doing in that motion as well. So it's like there's a bunch of different ways you can skin a cat, but it's not that you can't do it. It's just like find a different way to do it.
hmm I do have to touch on. I think the biggest thing
Mm-hmm.
that helped was working a lot more hamstring work, and in the sense, easy. Honestly, it was
Mm-hmm.
just getting more strength and hypertrophy in my hamstrings because
Yes.
at the knee you're going to have the quads looking to extend it, and then the hamstrings are going to curl it back and flex it.
Mm-hmm.
So if your quads, which are typically working more than hamstrings,
Mm-hmm.
people's hamstrings usually like quote unquote weaker, you're gonna feel a lot more of that anterior or front pressure in the front of your knee.
Yes.
Now if you just instead of going crazy, like you could literally just try this. If you're having like knee pain in the front, and it's not because you just hit it, you twisted it, it just happens like throughout your day. Like you
Yes.
wake up,
Yeah.
you're fine. By like 3 p.m., you're like, yo, what's up with my knee? Bro, just go to the gym, sit down on a seated hamstring curl, and do some hamstring curls.
Mm-hmm.
Do a decent weight for like 15, 20 reps. 2-3 sets, see what happens. Like
And
because now when you're walking, your hamstring's doing more of its job instead of
yes.
your quad always on. And then the ligaments, because I believe it's like the ACL that mimics the hamstring in the sense of like pulling the Jesus, I can remember anatomy things. The bones underneath the knee, the
Yes.
tibia,
Yes. Yes.
it like helps pull it back. Now, if the ACL is doing all that
Mm-hmm.
and the hamstring's not doing its real job, you'll feel that pain also. And then if it's the ACL really feeling that pain, you're kind of like, what's going on? Because that's like
Yes.
a ligament that's between the femur, and I believe the tibia. And if you're not hamstrings aren't doing their right job, that's going to be lit up, and that's such a tough thing to find because it's like a needle. It's like right in there, like deep in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very simple thing. Just sit down and strengthen some hamstrings up, and that might work. That might just be it. You don't have to sit there and think your knees falling apart or it's squat's fault.
And that's a great thing to kind of highlight as well, because strength and stability. And this is something, learn from Prescript, shout out to Prescript, are like kind of on like this certain side of the spectrum, and then like mobility is over here, right? So it's like when you're doing that, like that's really putting forth. And then after you do that, now get into some lunge work, see how that lunge work feels. Now you might feel a lot better in that lunge work. Then there's your stability side of things. And then you start adding load to those movements and strengthen those movements and so on and so forth. So I love that you brought that up, because that's a big thing that I think is just kind of like missed a little bit. It's like mobilize and then like into the stability work or like their strength work, which would be like their squats again or whatever, trying to do like a mobility work, then get back into a squat with really no layup to it. So it's like, hey, like even doing this and then seeing how you feel when you go to do a squat, even like when you get to that point, back to that. And like, that's a great point to make. So I love that you brought that up.
And you know why I also bring up the strength part too with the hamstrings? Because I really think a lot of people might be more mobile than they think.
Yes.
So instead of like going straight to mobility first, because you might be so mobile at your, let's say your hip, that you're just not strong enough to be in a certain position that your knees feeling it constantly, because your hip's moving around, but then you don't have the stability to get into a certain position when you're walking, and then the strength to be there and push out in the gait cycle, and you're feeling a lot of that stress on your knee. So it's like before you go nuts, literally just go into the gym and do some hamstring curls, see what happens, and then see, if it's a deeper issue, see from there. And then like the last case is going to the doctor, seeing what's up, obviously, but we're talking sensitive in the gym. But like, it's as simple as just going to the gym, strengthen your hamstrings up real quick, see what happens. If it's that front pressure, heavy, strengthen the hamstrings up, stretch the quad out, see if just the strength in the hamstrings up works. It's like balancing the scale out. Like the quads are doing so much, do some hamstring stuff and they'll be like, oh wait, because as your hamstrings doing its job, the quad has to relax, otherwise your knee's not bending. So if you do your hamstring stuff and your quad's going to be forced to relax. If you do 25 reps at a decent weight, guess what your quads are doing? Like, yo, thank you, bro. I'm doing so much. Thanks, hamstrings are finally doing something. You know what I mean?
It was about damn time.
I'm over here holding his whole body up.
No, that's actually a solid point to make, and I love that you brought it there, because it's like I said, it's just something that you just have to kind of look at your body and figure out, like, okay, where am I noticing things the most? Like for me, it would be, my ankle. Like my hips, pretty good at moving, skateboarding kind of helps with that. It gives me access to those ranges of motion. And with the ankle after my surgery now, that's where I started noticing like there being a little bit of an issue with knee pain on my left side. And that was just my knee. I couldn't get my knee to track over my toe. Right. And so I'm still working on it to this day. I had that big ankle surgery back in April of 2021. So, I'm decently good
and
now.
You're skating. Son.
Yeah, I'm skating.
Skating.
Yeah, that's the thing though,
Getting
is like
yoked.
I'm also able to skate the way I skate because I take this time in my gym here to do this stuff. And I think that's the thing, is like I was able to, and this is crazy to me because a lot of people, how much do you skate? I skate once a week, bro. Once a week for like an hour, 2 hours. But every clip you see, I'm going hard, bro. Like I get in the gym and I get work done. I don't fuck around. Like don't. And this is no offense to anybody who tries to talk to me while I'm skating, but don't try to talk to me while I'm skating, because I won't have a conversation with you. Like at least not right now. Like in the summer, okay.
Unless you want to buy some.
Yeah, unless you want to do this stuff and you want to coach, like make sure you tell me that first. But if you're just trying to like make small talk, like I'm not. I'll step away to like help you with an issue or something. But like because for me, I have these 2 kids at home, the wife. Right now with winter, I can't just go outside and skate. I have literally 1 day a week where I get an hour to skate. So like I'm going hard. But the thing is too, I thought about this. Damn, I'm Just telling people.
Bro, I'm gonna make you a T-shirt. Just when they're skating, just don't talk
to me.
So you just made that loud and clear. Like, listen.
Yes.
Anyone out there, if you see me skate, don't unless it's about XSF. I don't want to.
That's
hear
why,
it.
and like people are like, "How do you skate with headphones?" And it's like, dude, I do it.
I have to.
I do
I don't want to talk to
yeah,
you.
it's I literally simply do it, and like that's. I only do it for that reason. Like, I know people in the gym are the same way. Like, people are very serious about their lifting and stuff. Like, I don't want to just be having small talk conversations with somebody. I'm trying to get my lifting in. Like, same thing when I skate. Like, I only have that time. Now, in the summer, it's different, right? Because I'm able to just go to the skate park and bring my kids with me and have this good time and, like, be chilling outside and take my time. When I have an hour, I'm not taking that time. Like, I'm there to put in work.
Yeah.
But something I noticed where I was going with this is, like, I was able – now I'm skating better than I was, of course, and goes into like the surgery. I came out the surgery, had to get my tricks back and stuff, but I'm skating with way less pain, like in my ankle or anywhere else or being sore now. And I'm skating way harder than I was back then, but I was skating way more frequently. So I was skating like at least 5 days a week. And I kind of neglected the training side of things for a little while. Maybe getting in like one lifting day, which is still better than nothing. You know, focusing on mobility work still pretty much every single day, still better than nothing. But once I kind of took a step back and refocused and like really put a little bit more effort and like a little bit more effort, literally I'm training 2 days a week for like an hour and a half. And
But yo, how much attention you put into when you train?
every single
That's the
damn
ticket.
ounce
Because
of
people
my
could be in the gym
energy,
5 days a week, not giving any attention.
Exactly. So it's like, and then, so it's like I train these 2 days, and then that other day that I'm not working my full-time job is my skate day. And it's like, when I'm there to skate, I'm feeling so good. And the best part is like I have training today and I just skated yesterday. Yeah, I have a little bit sore, right? You go hard for an hour straight and you're taking some slams, you're going to be sore. But the nice part is like, that's where training then comes in. Now I get to move my body through these ranges of motion. I have barbell, heel elevated front squats later. Like I'm going to be able to really just take myself through a nice deep range of motion, maybe drop the weight a little bit if I need to get the reps in, but really just keep that focus there, you know, and using that as checkpoint for me to be like, all right, well, that feels this way. Let's do this. So I don't end up with some type of like chronic-ish pain in the future. But yeah, I think that's just a solid thing.
One thing I just thought about this because I think it's just so dope that like you went through some ankle stuff. You still like you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I had a knee pain. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to mention is like my knee pain stems back to when I was in the Marines for a little bit. Something happened on a hike that I don't remember because it was, you know, you feel something. I don't
just
feel,
keep going.
I'm marching. I'm not. Yeah,
you're not stopping.
And it didn't exist.
Yep.
Check this out. Then I'm playing softball for the Union, and it started to hurt a lot. But I was also heavily addicted to pills. And just so happens that as I'm blowing painkillers, I'm in tons of pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's just a testimonial for people out there that are like, hey, I'm just in pain. I'll do pain. It doesn't help.
Yes.
It numbs you.
So,
it doesn't actually get you out of pain. You know what does? Like what me and D are doing, the time and attention to actually try to not just put a Band-Aid. And pills are like a Band-Aid that have poison on them. You know, it's not like a Band-Aid that's going to actually try to cut the scar up. I mean, cover the cut. It's going to like seep poison into you, take over and kill you. So eventually. So that's just something I thought about is like when I, look at you. You make me feel special. Ma, we made it. We made it, Ma. You know, because that's just what it is. Like for real. I always had that knee pain stemming back to the Marines when I was like 21. Yeah, 21. Mm-hmm. Didn't whatever. Mm-hmm. 24, 23 into pills and playing softball. I couldn't play because my knee hurt. But that was really because like I'm not gonna actually go fix this now. I'm just gonna blow more pills about it.
You know, love that you brought that up. That was
and now it's like, oh, you're doing a lot of you're skating to work, you're moving a lot, you're working out, you're skating home. And it wasn't like, let's take Advil all day. Let's figure this out. And now we're good to go. Boom. You know what I mean? So granted, too, I'm not working right now, so I don't have to do that, but we're still good to go because the pain subsided before I ripped my finger off.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just a new pain. That's a new thing we deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But still.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because it's like we're living, like you, especially you with like the ankle thing. Mm-hmm. To me, that's
and I
amazing.
Never, so like you talk about that, like people always ask me like, oh, do you take like ibuprofen? Do you do this and that? Like I don't do anything. Like I had painkillers after the ankle surgery. Of course, I mean they literally had to go and reattach ligaments and put a break. Of course,
it's not terrible to enjoy them here.
No,
doing drugs like an adult.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I was chilling.
I got painkillers for a tooth pull.
I was chilling, watching. I don't even remember, but I was lost in shows at that point. But like, for me, like afterward, like it just like you said, it just isn't letting me get that check engine that I need. 'Cause it's like it's just putting it there. That's good. Then now I feel a little bit better, and then the pain's coming back later. It's like I just never enjoyed taking it just because it's like I know I'll do it, and then all of a sudden, like the pain's actually worse because like my pain threshold is also very high. Like my pain threshold's very high.
That's skating, son.
Yeah.
You have to have a high.
Bro,
honestly, I don't think you
dude.
could succeed in getting past trying to do an ollie if you don't have a high pain threshold.
Not at
You know
all.
what I mean?
Not at all. And this
Never.
literally happened last night. I was doing my skate lesson with this kid, Charlie. I was trying to teach him how to do like a fakie kick turn, right? So he was riding fakie and then like turning back around. And I was riding with him, and when he did it, he like slipped backward, and like I was still holding him, and he just like kind of fell and like took a little hipper to the ground, and he like started going. I was like, "Hey, Charlie, stand up." I was like, "Walk around. How bad does it really hurt?" And he was like, "Not really." And I was like, "All right, cool, let's go." And I was like, "You're gonna make it, bro. You're good." I was like, "You're gonna be the one. You're straight." And then I've also seen the other side of the spectrum, bro. Kids will like eat it. And it's like happens every time. Like you got to eat it at times, but then they get up and they're like, "I'm done. I'm never skating again." It's like, oh, you weren't meant for this.
But that's
okay.
You know, I mean, that's
But you do have to be tough. I'm just saying that's the point I'm making. You have to be tough.
Like almost anything in life.
Yeah.
Whether it's mental strength, toughness, whatever.
Yeah.
But
random tangent. I just love skating.
Yeah, that's why I just stopped myself, dude. Because I was had to go nuts right there. So. No, but that is dope. Like you go through that ankle of serious ankle thing. And then you're skating, and I mean you're back at your level of skating.
Well, I'll let people know now, I guess. So I've been in the works, a little video part, a little street part.
Ooh.
So doing a little bit of a twist on it. It's gonna be a little different. I'm not gonna indulge too many details, but I am gonna be explaining my process a little bit more in depth. How
you went from messed up ankle to skating really got well.
Yeah, so like I have like a YouTube. I'm gonna start like a YouTube series about it too. But like my actual video part is gonna be a little bit different, more like documentary style, where like you're seeing all my skate clips that I've been filming, but me talking about the experience. So it's coming.
Maybe making a docu-series. See if we get signed by HBO.
Oh, bro, let's go, bro.
What's up? What I mean?
What's up?
We could definitely be on TV.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
With your professionalism.
Every time I'm playing or editing the podcast, JoJo's dying laughing. She's just like, "Oh my god, you guys are hilarious, and you guys sound like you should be on the radio." I'm like, "Damn, I know, right? Let's go."
Yeah, I got a face made for radio, baby.
Yeah, let's go. All right, before we get just too into the tangents here,
a recap.
Yeah, recap. The knee.
I'll go first.
You said me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
I'll go first.
So the knee. It's that floating joint. We really don't have much there supporting it other than those ligaments. Now, when it comes to knee pain, if it is an acute injury, like don't just hop into it. Go see a doctor. We're not saying like go lift weights if you just banged your knee up, but if you've been dealing with things that you deal with on every single day basis, or you do certain things and knee pain hurts. Start to address the mobility at the hips and the ankles. Start to look there, and then Lou, if you want to talk about the strengthening side of it, you can take it.
Yeah, like I said, I would even maybe because again, some people might be already mobile. It's look to strengthen the hamstring up real quick. Just sit down in the gym and do seated hamstring curls. A couple sets, then start moving around, see how it feels.
Yes,
mobility, stretching out. Moving the hips through space, pigeon stretches, couch stretches. Frog stretch, things like that.
Remember, when we say mobility too, because it's like we're doing that to orientate yourself with the motion of the hips, right? It's not like, oh, you need to mobilize. It's like, no, let's just
being able to move your hip joint.
Yeah, it's just be able to move and orientate our hip and space. Yes. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
And then stability, sprinter poses, walking lunges, really finding some active ranges. And then that's it, and then priorities also, because we can be over, like what I was doing with work, I was straight up overusing. I mean, skating hard to work, working all, and I'm not the type of guy who goes to work and just thinks you should pay me because I showed up. Like I work.
Yeah,
and then and then skate home and then walk to the gym and then work out, so it's like find your priorities too.
Yes.
If that's doing maybe a set or two different in the gym less, or skating a little less, or not going as nuts at work, because that's another thing. Like, yeah, I could honestly not skip every step and go nuts, but that's just how I operate. You know what I mean? But if I slowed myself down, anyway, it's finding the priorities of your life and really honing in and really giving it the time and attention.
I think that's the biggest one too. I love
that's time, because like with you, That's all it is. Because, like I said, you're working out once a week, but when you're in the gym, or in your space, you're in your space. You're not in your space on Instagram or doing this or doing that. You know, it's the time and attention.
Yeah, like I skate. Like, yeah, it's literally training. I added a day of training and took away a couple of days of skating to then have a way better time skating and skate and perform better. So
that was beautiful poetry right there.
All right,
mic dropping.
Just hey, remember, everybody is capable of being extreme.